without much further ado, I want to thank once again everyone for coming to season 2, episode 1 of State of the Grizz. It's an exciting time for us here as we're getting ready to crack open another academic semester at Gutman Community College. Our timeline runs a little different than our other CUNY counterparts because we're a different kind of a school. But nonetheless, this is the just before school officially opens State of the Grizz, what I call the welcome back episode. And I do that in air quotes because while it is a welcome back, it's not in the traditional sense. And we all know that because we're looking at each other through a screen. We're continuing the trend of bringing you information, relevant things that you need to know as members of the Gutman community, as part of the Grizzly family. What we're hoping that State of the Grizz becomes is a space for you to feel like you can join into the on-campus conversation virtually. It is our solemn pledge that we're going to do our best to bring you the latest information, the most relevant and up-to-date things that you need to know in order for you to successfully navigate your year at Gutman. Today, this episode is specific to our first year class. And so we're hoping that as people get used to this thing, we're gonna see members of the returning class join us. But right now, our focus is on our first year student. We're excited for you to join us and be a part of this machine that's driving towards a couple of different goals. But the most important goal is success. And hopefully that means graduation. Completion, the ability to walk across the stage at some point in your journey. And as we talk about success, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out to the success of this program in regards to my co-host, my partner in crime, my boss. You know, once upon a time, I used to do this program with the Dean of Students. Sadly, the Dean of Students is no longer operating with us because the Dean was promoted to the Vice President position at Gutman. And so please help me in welcoming our new Vice President for Student Engagement, my co-host for State of the Grizz, and someone who loves engaging the community through his venue, VP Charles Pryor. VP, how are you today?
You know, thank you so much, Nesta. I really do appreciate the shout out, and it absolutely has been a pleasure to not only serve the college as dean, but also to have this phenomenal opportunity to serve the college as vice president. As you said, I absolutely love this as a medium and an opportunity to talk and engage, to do some outreach, but also as an opportunity to get some feedback and learn what's going on with our students, how they're feeling, how they're connecting, and how the college can go further and support them. As you said, this is season 2. We kicked off last year with, you know, a lot of nuts and bolts trying to get information out. And this is no different, as this episode in particular is dedicated to our incoming students. So I want to welcome you and your parents or whomever else is joining us in this corner of the internet today, as Nestor so eloquently said. It really is a time of celebration. And I'm thankful that folks have carved out time to be here with us today, because as you said, we would normally be doing much of this interaction and engagement in person. With Bridge starting, I think, a week from today. Bindi Patel, the deputy to the vice president's office, is here to talk about Bridge. We also have our assistant dean, Dr. Danny Ambrose, to talk about orientation and this delta in time in between the two engagements to really help connect and make your engagement and your relationship with Gutman really seamless. And then, of course, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about our phenomenal admissions team and connecting that relationship and engagement that you all were able to build and create and make, you know, positive and impactful on our students over the last few months, as they go, as you all move from applicants to Grizzlies. And you know, I'm really excited to have that conversation and to talk about all the opportunities that you have here at Gutman, and the fact that we have not allowed the move to virtual to stymie any of our relationship building. That's really a hallmark of the government experience. It's a testament not only to the team, the team in student engagement, our faculty, the team on the finance and administration side, but definitely the folks in our communication office who have really been the linchpins in facilitating this, them and our IT folks. So I want to give a shout out and say thank you to those folks, but more importantly, give a shout out to all of the people that in our society have helped us to get to a place where we're a step closer to being back in person. So we're talking about our essential workers, our healthcare folks, our public safety on our own campus, and our facilities folks who are diligently day in and day out working to make the place and space safer so that when we do return to campus, we can do so in a safer environment. Because as you know, this move or the decision to move to virtual for the fall was not an easy one to make, but it is one that the leadership under our previous president, Scott Evenbeck, and our new president, Dr. Doris Centrone, who you will have the opportunity to meet in the coming weeks, really believes is in the best interest and safety of our institution. And, we 100% support it. And like I said, we've, moved mountains and the team really, has. And thank you, Nestor, for facilitating this space so that we can continue to build relationships and connect with our students. Because again, at Gutman, we always talk about supports and connection, but the most important part is being able to say to people that we got your back. And the State of the Grizz and other mediums allow us to do that. So as I said, parents and incoming students and all of those that are joining us from around the Gutman community, I welcome you here today to this conversation, and I thank you for carving out time to be here. But more importantly, I hope that you've come with some questions, as the State of the Grizz isn't a one-sided podcast. It isn't a one-sided show. We're really here to engage, inform, but also to hear from you questions or concerns, and really to have a conversation. So as we move things forward, just know that, all you have to do is raise your hand virtually, of course, so that we can see you and get you connected and plugged in. And in this virtual room, as you can see behind me, all the things that are important to us. And one of the things that we maintain here is that all voices will be heard in this space. So like I said, I'll let the background speak for itself, but I want to concretize to you all that in this space, everyone's voice has value and everyone's voice shall be heard. So again, thank you, Nestor. And, it's been 2 months since we had the opportunity to do the show, and it's, admittedly, up until about 5 minutes ago, I was like, I don't know if we should do this. But now that we're going, I realize how much I missed this. I missed this opportunity to engage and talk, and, and students, continuing students know this, and new and incoming students will get to know this. I usually walk around the building and poke my head into events. So while I'm not able to do that in a virtual space, I will, virtually come around and attend events and programs and really try to get to know you and figure out other ways that the college can support you. And, and I hope that you'll help us figure out what those things are as you visit us here and in other spaces, so, but like I said, we have a couple of guests, and I want to take this opportunity to allow Dr. Danny Ambrose to say hello, tell us a little bit about the orientation experience and what that was like for students, and also give us a little bit of background on what students should expect to hear from advising, a little bit about the fall schedule, but more importantly, one of, an office of many offices in student engagement that are constructed to do a lot of outreach and engagement, and really a foundation for your academic pursuits. So Dr. Ambrose, welcome. And it looks like you're out in the sun somewhere.
Hello, hello. Yes, can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear, brother.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, I have my headphones in, want to make sure that y'all can hear me. But yes, I'm out in the sun, taking a little time on the West Coast, but headed back to New York shortly. But, one of the themes of this summer is, the government community, I think, has just remained so tight-knit, so close for faculty, staff, and for our incoming students, no matter where you have been, where you are currently. You know, our goal is to always make sure that we are communicating, you know, often and very clearly so that you have the information you need to feel equipped for every step in the process, right? And I know for our first year students, for our incoming class who are on the call right now, you have already mastered this, I believe, right? You have gone through several steps related to our admissions process. You made it through all of those steps. And then you took on orientation, and you took on an orientation program that probably is different from any other program you have experienced in the past. And at Gutman too, it was a new adventure for us. It was a new challenge to create a program that was giving you a full picture of the Gutman experience, highlighting the information that you needed to begin on day one of Summer Bridge, knowing the policies, the foundation, the resources that are going to equip you to succeed in Bridge and in the fall semester. So for those of you who made it through the program of orientation, you know, you did the required modules, you learned about financial aid, technology, you were able to understand our advising model a little bit, right, and hear about the first year experience and the classes that you will be taking. So we wanted you to be able to have that information to start you out, and we're going to make sure that throughout Bridge, you're going to be hearing you know, some similar iterations of this information. You're going to revisit some of the content and some of the resources that were first introduced during orientation. So one of the pieces that I think is, you know, terrific, and for those of you who logged in today, you're doing exactly what you should, right? You're staying connected. What's really important is to make sure that you are staying connected so that you get the information that we're sending, right? So email is paramount. We know that checking email on a daily basis is just what, you know, all wonderful students do. It's what I do, right? We check our email, making sure that we have access to our Gutman email account. You received your, you know, many of your emails for orientation to your personal email, but as you transition to the Bridge program, you will be receiving communications to your Gutman email address, your student email account. So ensuring that you're logging in and checking information there is critical. So as we think about moving into Bridge and moving into the fall semester, one thing I wanted to highlight is the relationship you're going to have with your advisor. So you heard about this in orientation, that your advisor for the first year is called a student success advocate. So each of you will be placed in a house, right? So there's a community known as a house, right? And you're a part of a cohort that is within that house. So you have a particular advisor that's dedicated to your house. So your SSA, you will be introduced to your SSA beginning in Bridge, okay? And then you're gonna understand exactly how to communicate, how to reach out, how to be in touch with your advisor. Advisors meet with students virtually, right? So there's one-on-one meetings that are held via video chat. It could be via phone. There's different options to connect with your advisor. And in fact, one of the requirements of one of your first year courses called labs, we'll talk about that in a minute, is to actually have some FaceTime and a touch point with your advisor outside of the class space. So we'll kind of go into how that works in Bridge, and you'll get that understanding. But to talk a little bit about that relationship with your advisor is really here as a guide. So when you think about starting college, you probably have a lot of questions. So orientation, Summer Bridge, those programs are designed to help answer a lot of your questions. But your advisor is another resource who you can go to, you can ask questions. They will help clarify some of these components in the class space, right? The virtual class space, but also in one-on-one meetings. And when you show up to those meetings, right? It's wonderful if you've already kind of thought of your questions, you've generated your questions, you've written them down. Your advisor will just want to get to know you, right? They're going to want to get to know your interests, who you are, your passions. A lot of what you're going to do in your first year seminar called Labs, which is learning about being a successful student, is really thinking about your career and thinking about, you know, what is with the end in mind, what will your kind of trajectory be? So if we think about your career and then take a few steps backwards and think about, so then what major at Gutman is really going to serve me? Because you're already coming in with a major, but you're going to have the chance to explore and to change if you would like to change your major within the first year. That's a possibility. So you're going to think about your career and your major, and you're going to think about then all the resources and steps to be successful at Gutman to achieve your goals within that major, right? So that you can move on, you can transfer, you can move into the workforce. So your advisor is going to be really critical in asking some good questions and helping you connect the dots. But what's really important for you is to meet them halfway, is to show up, you know, even if you don't have the answers to all the questions, start asking the questions, come to meetings prepared, and be a partner with your advisor, because one of the things that's important is that you are the owners of your educational experience at Gutman. So your advisor will never tell you, you have to take this course, this is what you're doing. It's a conversation, and then you're the one after your first term, right? Every session after fall one, you are going to be going and registering yourself for courses, right? So the very first session, right, fall one, many of you have already discovered, we provided you with a schedule of classes. Starting fall two, moving forward, you will be going in and registering yourself, and your advisor is there to assist you in that process, to help you plan your classes every session so that you're moving forward and you're achieving your goals. But it really is you who takes ownership of which classes you're going to take, and then you're the ones who are committed to, you know, working hard and making sure that you're using campus resources so that then you can achieve all your goals. So the SSA relationship is going to be a valuable one. And they are very excited to meet you. We have been, you know, kind of doing a lot of development and PDs and training with them over the summer. And they're so excited to meet you, to be able to know your names, to know your faces, and to really just be a support system for you, alongside all the other supports at the college, because there are many more supports other than the SSA, but that will be a central support that will also then refer you to other services. So I think I covered a lot of what I wanted to mention in terms of what you should expect with the advisor relationship, and, you know, components of your labs class in the first year, and really looking at what are the policies at Gutman, what services exist, doing some kind of career planning, major exploration, and then planning your fall two classes. So that is really going to be the focus of your labs course in fall one. And I would just actually, we have a terrific website, right? So we're all in a virtual space, and we've done a lot of good work to put resources online. So I would say, number one, I think many of you have already explored the Gutman website, kind of, you know, ins and outs and various pages. I would encourage you to go to our advising webpage, right? Which is gutman.edu/advising. And there you'll be able to see who our staff is, pictures, contact information, but also just some resources for you in terms of, there's a whole resource on preparing for your first advising meeting. Like, what do you do before you meet with an advisor? There's a lot of educational resources and guides. Many of you, everyone's going to become familiar with different educational technology platforms. One that you heard about in orientation, you're going to hear more about it in Bridge, is called Starfish. Starfish is a way for you to schedule appointments with your advisor, but also to make appointments for different academic support services. And so your SSA will help you get acquainted with Starfish, but it's great right now if you were to go on the website, download the user guide, take a look at all those things, and those are available, again, on our advising webpage off the Gutman website. So that's my announcement. I don't feel like, I'm not sure if there are any continuing students on the call. If there are continuing students on the call who were with us this last year, who are continuing in the fall, I will remind you to make an appointment with your advisor around registration. Please do that. Make sure you go and register and solidify your fall class schedule. In addition, we have our Transfer Bridge program happening tomorrow and Friday. For those who graduated in the spring, we have a program for folks to equip them to make the transition to the senior college. And the credit, no credit policy is still in effect, continuing students for spring two. So September 10th is that deadline. I'll pause there and see if there are any initial questions, anything from the moderators.
You know, Danny, thank you very much. You know, I think you shared as much information as quickly as could possibly be done or accomplished in 15 minutes. You know, one of the things that I always want to try to, you know, get out on the table is sometimes people come forward with, or don't come forward with questions because they think they're silly. You know what I mean? And I know the advisors believe that, you know, every question has merit and want folks to come forward. But can you give me an example, and, you know, humor me here, of one of the most popular questions that people ask, like when they first, you know, meet a student at an SSA, because an advisor is very different than a guidance counselor in high school or an advisor as it's even seen on other campuses. The SSA role is very unique to Gutman, and I think is really a major support to our students.
Right.
But I'm just kind of shooting it out there. What's something that SSA say? I always have students come in and ask this, and I really want to try to make sure that students understand this about either this program, the SSA and labs, or just about the Gutman experience.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wonderful question. A few things come to mind. I think one of the questions oftentimes that SSAs will receive in the first year is really the 12-6 schedule, about the importance of being full-time in the first year, and understanding like the nuances of registration. So if that makes sense. So to unpack that a little bit more, we talk a lot about in the admissions process that we have, a semester that's divided into session 1 and session 2, right? 12 weeks and then 6 weeks. And I think that sounds great, but oftentimes what I've also heard from students is you don't know what that means until you're in it, right? Until you're living it. And one of the reasons, and one of the things that I think advisors are really great at, is reminding students why we're structured the way we are. So we have that schedule so that students can, really move through the curriculum in a pace that's going to serve them, and, ideally have them graduating from Gutman in, anywhere from a 2 to 3 year time block, right? Which is far ahead of the national average in terms of community college graduation with the associates. So I think reminding students of the schedule, the structure, and then also how that then impacts registration, right? Because going forward, right, after the first session, students will be registering themselves. And so we have SSAs that remind students of like, registration opens now. You're going to register for the whole spring term at one time. And then if we need to go back and kind of tweak your spring 2, right, the second session, we'll do that together. So the SSA, I think, serves as a guide with Gutman's unique structure. And then I'll just say that I think the other most common thing is like, what you don't know until you know is, how do I check my grades on CUNY first? How do I actually register on CUNY first? If I'm using this new technology platform for the first time, SSAs really cover that in labs and spend some time just helping students navigate the educational technology. So I think those things are very common, but I would like to reiterate what you said, VP, is that there are no bad questions, really. And as questions, I think also it's one of the things where as you kind of go through Bridge and you go through the first couple of days, I think that you're able to generate questions and really kind of, you kind of like know what you don't know. So I just encourage every student on this call to really, if you have a question, I guarantee you that one of your peers has that question or a very similar question. So bring it forward. You can bring it forward in an email. There will be some optional opportunities for students to get together in spaces like this, in live spaces with their advisors at periodic times throughout the session. Again, those are optional, but those are great places to bring these types of questions because, again, you can have that dialogue, and then that's when other folks can say, yeah, me too, I want to know that as well.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Danny. Nestor, I think I might have cut you off earlier. My apologies. Did you have a question for Dean Ambrose? Or?
I did. Dean, a lot of students who have been in the college experience talk a little bit about the jarring nature of the transition to remote learning. And a lot of what we learned in these past couple of months is that it was a difficult transition, but we are more prepared now than we were then. Incoming students are going to be looking at a different college experience than all of their predecessors. And so I would love for our community to hear that there isn't a right way yet to navigate. There is, keep in touch, to echo your messages, keep in touch with the folks that we've identified that will help you navigate this path, that it doesn't serve students to remain quiet, in their living spaces, not using the websites, not using the paths to send messages, whether that's email, whether that's live chat, whether that's text bot, like all of the things. And so, to help the community feel a sense of comfort that there is no right way now. We're doing everything we can to meet the students where they're at. And, you know,
Right.
your service, which is your office, which is critical in the first year for helping the students to make that transition.
Right. I agree with that. I think that there's no one way. And I think that part of what it is, and for students on this call, you needed to figure out how kind of the last portion of your high school career was going to work out online. And so you've already done a lot of this learning, right? In terms of how am I going to study? Like, what do I need to know? What do I know that, you know, I figured out, it doesn't work for me. Like, I can't wait to the last minute if that's what I did. Or I need to figure out like my timing for the studying and my home environment, like what is more ideal. So I think you've done a lot of this learning already. I want you to bring that learning to Gutman and still be opening to assessing kind of your own study behaviors, your own success strategies. Again, your advisors can help you kind of troubleshoot and kind of like think about new strategies to employ, but you already have a lot of this, I think, figured out. What I will say, which to echo what Nestor just mentioned, is that, you know, being proactive in your communication is critical. So if something isn't working for you in that first week, in that second week, that's when you reach out right away. And it's not just to the advisor. You have a direct line to your faculty. Your faculty are here, they're supportive, they're here to communicate. If you have a particular question about an assignment, right, that's a question you want to go and talk to your faculty about because they created the assignment, right? Your advisor can help you think about questions and can think about resources and can think about services on campus and can think about, you know, study strategies. But if it's something related to the actual classroom, that's wonderful. Reach out to your faculty members, send them an email. They'll have office hours that they advertise on their syllabus. So make sure that you're reaching out as you need to. And I would just say, don't delay, right? Because I've been a student many times, and there are moments where, oh, I waited till halfway through the semester to really ask for the support. And then I was like, wow, I caught up, but it took so much more time and effort to catch up. So if we stay on top of it from the start, ask your advisor, ask your faculty if something's not clear. I think that's the way to go. So I'm gonna turn it over, right? I'll turn it over to the moderators, but I will have to excuse myself. Unfortunately, I would love to stay here with you all afternoon. But everybody on the call, I am excited to meet you and to continue to know you as we move into the academic year.
Thank you very much, Dean Ambrose. Really do appreciate your time. And like I said, such a concise presentation about orientation and the relationship with not only the SSAs, but advising, which continues with our career strategists. So thank you. I know, you know, college business calls you away. So thank you very much. And please, you know, continue to, you know, lead a stellar team and do a stellar job. We appreciate you, man. Be well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
As Dean Ambrose said, and I alluded to earlier, we do have the benefit of having the deputy to the vice president's office, Ms. Bindi Patel, on the call. And she is from the student engagement side of the house, the person that's been curating and preparing your bridge program for you as you get a taste of the Gutman model, but more importantly, help to prepare you for the Gutman experience. So Ms. Patel, welcome to State of the Grizz.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here. I wanted to just share a little bit of information about Bridge. It is next week, so I hope all of you incoming students are excited. Faculty and staff have been working really hard to create a Bridge program that will try and get you ready with all of the skills that you need to be successful when classes begin in September. So for Bridge, does everybody know how to access our Bridge module? Anybody?
I do.
Just Charles, just our VP? Well, so all of the incoming students have been receiving a few messages. And so I'll reiterate all of what has been shared. And so some of you may already know it because you've been diligently reading all of your emails from the various Gutman partners that are getting excited to have you join us. But when you go into Bridge, it's going to be all remote on August 26th. And you log into your CUNY First Blackboard portal. So there's two key usernames and passwords that we really want you to remember. You have your CUNY First credentials, and then you have your Gutman credentials. So your Gutman credentials is like your first name, last name, a number, and you use that to log into your email at gutmanmail.cuny.edu. And your CUNY First credentials are what you use to log into CUNY First, into Blackboard, and the CUNY systems. And so both of those are critical things to make sure that you get all the information that you need as you start your first year. So for accessing our bridge course, you would log into CUNY First and you would go to Blackboard. So you log into our Blackboard and it will be a course. It'll be the first course you'll see is Summer Bridge. And when you log in there on the 26th, what you'll find is that course is going to be just you and your cohort. So Danny mentioned that all of you are in a cohort that's part of a house. So through Summer Bridge, you'll really get a chance to meet your classmates. There's going to be multiple activities and multiple course sessions that you have to complete. One of the key things is making sure that you stay on top of it throughout the 8 days. So there's 8 calendar days and the weekend. So you have 10 days to go through our Summer Bridge module. And in when you get into the Summer Bridge course, you'll see that there's 4 different modules. And those modules, what we've been sharing, will take about 2 days for you to finish. Each module has different components in it. And so you work through the module from start to finish in that order because they talk to each other. So you do the first one, and then it might get mentioned in the second session or the third session. And so if you spend about 3 to 4 hours a day going through the Summer Bridge course modules, you'll be done by the time Friday, September 5th rolls around. It might sound like a lot of time, but if you were coming on campus, you would be coming on campus for 5 hours. So in some ways, you're getting a little bit of a break in terms of doing it remotely. The other thing is that it is asynchronous. So we know that, students, y'all have other obligations. There's different times of the day that you work best, or that, you can find quiet space, get access to a computer, all of those things. So you don't have a set time that you have to log in. So we're not asking you, like today, we're like, oh, let's all meet at 3 and it's a live session. Summer Bridge is not a live session. It's all asynchronous. So you can work on it. If you're a morning person, wake up really early and just knock it out, and then don't come back to it until the next day. So you can do it on your own schedule, but it's really important that you give yourself time every single day, because through the Blackboard shell, through the discussions, through the little assignments that you're doing, you're really getting to know your classmates, you're getting to know your faculty and your advisors, and they're going to be communicating back and forth with you. So there's going to be discussion posts, there's going to be different things they're going to ask you to do, and they're going to be giving you feedback. All of the assignments and all of the work that you're doing in Summer Bridge is built to get you prepared for when you start to take classes. So you'll be taking critical issues courses in Summer Bridge, composition. You'll be in a lab session with your advisors, and you'll be doing student development workshops. So with the student development workshops, you're getting to know all of the different areas on campus. So if you've been keeping up with the chat, you've seen that Andrew, Drew Bennett, and Andrea are talking about the peer mentors. That's a key resource that you'll get to meet in Summer Bridge, and then learn how to access and continue to work with them throughout the rest of the year. So we want to make sure that you get exposed to all of the various things that Gutman has. It's a really short program, right? It's only 8 days. There's a lot of information in there. So we're not going to be able to really dig deep into everything, but it's a good way to really learn about how your first year is going to look and get to meet these key people, your faculty, your advisors, us, right? Like the Nestors, the Andrews, right? So you'll see us on video, you'll see us in chats, but this is a way that you'll get to connect with us as well. There's some other key things. When you log in on the first day of Summer Bridge, that helps us know that you showed up to Bridge, and then we can start generating your stipend. So all students that come to Summer Bridge are eligible to receive a stipend. And so we really want to make sure that you log in on day 1. When you complete Bridge and your fall classes start, and you've stayed with us and you're ready to get going for the academic year, you get your second stipend. And so we know that there's a lot of things happening, right? So you may have been working, you may be trying to find work now that we're opening up a little, you may be taking care of other responsibilities. And we know that Bridge is a commitment that you're making to us and to Gutman. And so we're making a commitment and investing in you too by providing you with that stipend. And we hope that that stipend is gonna help with the cost of books, other expenses that are related to school. But it's a mutual investment with you giving us this time with Bridge. And the last thing I think I'll share about Bridge, and then if there's any questions, on that last day on September 4th, we get to celebrate. So we get to celebrate with a convocation. And so there will be a live experience where you can log into our live stream of convocation. And convocation is really, it's a celebration of the beginning of our new journey together. And so you'll get to meet our brand new college president, you'll get to meet other leadership from campus, and you'll get to see all of your teams that are going to be available for you in the first year experience. So I see a couple of questions. So for Bridge, a lot of the work, because it's going to be done in the remote environment, we're not having the same, you won't necessarily be working in groups, but through the platform that you'll be taking Summer Bridge on, there is an opportunity to set up groups right there within your class. So you'll have an opportunity to host meetings and do synchronous, like live experiences like this. So students will have access to communicate to each other. And if you want to meet, do meet and greets. I know that there will be meet and greets. Some of your faculty and advising teams, when you start Bridge, are going to host meet and greets on like day 2, day 3, that will be optional because, again, we know people's schedules are varied, but there will be some synchronous options. You'll be working on some research in Summer Bridge. And so your faculty will be hosting office hours in Summer Bridge. So if you have questions, if you need additional support, you'll be able to log in and go to these synchronous meetings. And email. You can always reach out over email to all of your faculty and staff. You'll have their contact information and they'll definitely be in touch with you. So circling back to email, one of the big things that we want everyone to do, and we've kind of put it out there, is that get really used to checking your Gutman email. Like, we're going to be sending you really important information on your Gutman email. And so on your CUNY First, you may have set your CUNY First when you applied to Gutman, when you applied to CUNY, you may have it going to an email that's affiliated with your high school or a personal email. We really, really encourage you to go into your CUNY First account and change your primary email in CUNY First to be your Gutman email, because that's the way that any Blackboard messages that you get, because we'll automatically send messages through our Blackboard courses, they'll go to that primary email. And then you'll also receive other emails from like the areas, the units that are inviting you to join programs, inviting you to use their services. That will all go to your Gutman email. So definitely encourage you to make that your primary email and get used to logging on and get used to how your Gutman email works. I think that's the bulk of what I have to share about Bridge. But key things, just make sure you log in now. You won't be able to access Bridge now, but it's probably been a while since you logged into Blackboard. Orientation was on there. You may not remember, like, how do I get to Blackboard again? Practice before the 26th, because we don't want you to be delayed because you forgot your username or password and you need to go through all of the setup. So definitely practice logging in now. Make sure you remember your credentials. The Summer Bridge course won't be there, so don't be like nervous or scared. Like, I don't have Summer Bridge when I log into Blackboard. You won't see it until the 26th, but we just want to make sure that when you log in on the 26th, it's like all easy and you can just like get started. And then, sorry, one more thing. In Summer Bridge, you're going to be doing a lot of introductions, right? So college is definitely a time of exploration. So we're going to ask you to do some writing exercises. We're going to ask you to introduce yourself via video so your classmates can like see you and get to know you. And so you're going to be challenged, right? And we want you to lean into that as best as possible, because this is what the experience is. And this is how we're going to be able to build community, in our new environment for the fall. So we're really, really excited. And we're looking forward to next week.
It sounds like with hitting our audience with a lot of information, and sadly it's the state of affairs that we're operating under, because we could in this chat have put up a bunch of screenshots of different things, but there really is no substitute for going to the Gutman website and getting comfortable and familiar with it, because that is going to be your portal to all of the great things that are available for you. And make no mistake about it, I don't know if you mentioned this, Bindi, but We do have YouTube tutorials for some of the different places that we need students to go to teach you how to log on and how to use your credentials. But one of the things that we can't stress enough is that moving forward, you are, to us, you know, on the administrative side of things, your CUNY credentials. And there's two levels of that. There's your CUNY system-wide login credentials, and then there's your Gutman-specific credentials, and you need to learn the difference between the two. The Gutman one is typically the one that ends with @gutmanmail.edu. That's your Gutman identity. So, you know, it's important for you to know that as a student. But that as you navigate to the websites and you start to enter these things, keep track of your passwords, keep track of your logins, have your EMPL ID, which is going to be the number on the back of your student ID, handy. Those are things that you need to know, because when you talk to us, typically we're going to ask you for that so that we can log in and call up your information. It's kind of like when you call customer service and they ask you 100 questions so they can confirm your identity. We need to do the same thing so that we can look at your class schedule, so that we can understand where your information sits in particular parts of our system. And it can get frustrating, right? Most of the times when you call, there's this rule of thumb that computers have to slow down every time you call in looking for an answer to a question. And so the more information you have at the beginning, the easier it's going to be for us to get to the heart of the matter and answer whatever questions that you have. But really quickly, before anybody else says anything, I really want to shout out the folks that are in the chat that I see. So, you know, I said it in the text chat, but Caesar, Jesse, Al Hassan, Vivi, Harry, Chelsea, Doug, and Elthon and Liana. If I missed anybody, and we have iPhone, because your name says iPhone. I don't know what your name is. So thank you for being here. And my hope is that while you're in this chat, you're texting your friends and your peers and saying, hey, this thing is happening and we're learning stuff and you're missing out, so that they're here in 2 weeks when we come back for this show. With that being said, we hit you with a lot of information. And if you've got questions, please ask them. Like if you walk away with nothing else, these are the people that you need to ask the questions to. And we're gonna be here accessible through all of the different ways. And I left out Naomi on purpose because Naomi did have a question, but it was for returners. And right now we're focusing on the first years, but we'll answer the returner question right before we close out for the day. Bindi, VP Charles, anything else to add?
No, I think Deputy Patel's overview of Bridge was complete, concise, and I mean, she hit all the points and really answered all the questions I had jotted down beforehand. I was like, oh, I want to make sure that we communicate this to students, we communicate that to students, and she definitely hit those points. So thank you. I'm excited for the opportunity to deliver this experience to students in a virtual space. You know, I really think that it is something that will help us to really craft what Gutman looks like and feels like for students going forward. So yeah, thank you for the work, and thank you to the faculty for their contributions and the courses that they were able to put together. Thank you to the team that created and wrote the curriculum for the student development portions of Bridge. I think it's going to be a great experience. So are there any last words about Bridge that you want to leave us with, Deputy Patel?
You know, there's a group of people that worked on developing it all. Now there's a group of people that are getting ready to like teach it and connect with you. And so we've been spending the last couple of days really going through it and doing Summer Bridge. So we're all taking the courses of Summer Bridge and seeing it from your perspective, the student perspective. And, you know, like VP Pryor said, like we're really excited. We're ready. We're ready for this new year. We're ready to bring all of you together in our virtual Summer Bridge, but we think it's going to be great. If people do have questions, though, I know I did cover a lot. You can just raise your hand or put it in the chat. But I think just to echo, like, we're really, really excited for this new year to start.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time today. Nomi, you had a question. I didn't see it pop up in the chat, but I know Nestor mentioned it. So do you want to, can we unmute her so that she can get a question up on the record?
It was for Dr. Ambrose, or Dean Ambrose now. But no, he's gone. So I'll just email him if anything. Thank you, though.
Okay. No problem. Thank you, Naomi. Really do appreciate you being here with us today and for your leadership on campus. So, Nestor, we're at 3:54. Anything to bring for the good of the cause?
Yeah. So Elton, or I hope I'm saying that right, Elton Gonzalez, and a big what's up to Jackson and Maybelline Sanabria, who just showed up. Signed on late. And so there may be some information that you're like, oh man, I missed that information. Well, here's the beautiful thing about State of the Grizz is not only is it live, but in a couple of days after the show, we host this on our Gutman YouTube channel. And so it's there for you to go and see this compelling piece of internet television that we're bringing to you live and direct across the internets. But in all seriousness, what we're trying to do here is create a sense of community that outlives having to be in-person interaction. So what that means is, while this is happening live, it's currently being recorded so that we can put it out onto the website, and you'll be able to see that. VP Pryor, I need you to take over for a minute because my bell is ringing. You know, welcome to the pandemic.
Exactly. Hey, no problem. Listen, we're all working while we're home. You know, originally I was saying we're working from home, but we're at home trying to work with all of the, you know, natural interruptions and things that go on that are not really interruptions. They're just a part of our daily lives. And this is part and parcel when you're at home trying to work. So again, thank you to everyone for logging in today. We're really at the end of this hour. But as Director Melendez said, every other week, we're going to be doing this program now. And then a few days after, we do it live, where you get to ask questions live in the chat, or, you know, if you want to speak your questions, we'll respond to you. But a few days later, we post this on our YouTube page so folks can log in, you know, skip to a part, you know, where a question was asked that was really relevant to them, because we're here to support you. We want to make sure that you have ample opportunity to engage with us. We're going to continue doing this throughout the fall semester so that, again, we're here, we can respond to you. But more importantly, we want this to be a space where you get information about the college, about things that are going on in New York City, and things that are hopefully beneficial to your academic success and also your success as individuals and as community members and contributors in your community. So, Nestor, everything's good? You got your seamless delivery?
No, it was. I wish it was seamless. It's we're doing construction in the apartment, trying to find ways to make home look different so it feels like I'm in a new place, because this pandemic life got me going crazy.
Gotcha.
But let me just follow up what you said. We are in the process as a college of discovering a new identity as a remote institution. And while the administrators, the faculty, the staff have been working tirelessly since March 12th, 2020, not that I'm keeping track of this, to make heads or tails of this, it doesn't work if our student partners don't join us, you know. And so as I look at the faces here, some of you with your gaming headsets, some of you on your phones, you know, and everybody soaking up all this information, is really critical that you are an active part of this. Otherwise it doesn't work, you know. So as much as I love the sound of my own voice and I love talking, we really found that this helps us know our students know their needs, their wants, their concerns, and how to make us better as an institution, how to make us better as practitioners of this thing called your higher ed journey. The point being, we want to see you be successful. And right now that's made more difficult by the fact that we can't see each other, but we're still committed to doing everything we can to help you get to your goal, which if your goal is graduation, then it's going to be graduation. If your goal is to get a couple of credits, get some knowledge, and then find the job or the career that's going to set you off on the path that you want to walk, then we're here for that as well. You define the success, we help you get there. That's the true partnership that we offer. And so really, more than anything, I know this one, we didn't have a lot of opportunities to chat, but for future discussions, we hope that you bring your voices, that you bring your energy, that you bring your ideas, and your feelings. Let us get to know you as much as we hope you get to know us through this electronic platform. That being said, in 2 weeks, we're going to be back here where we're going to introduce Gutman's new president, Dr. Doris Cintron, who will be addressing you not only through State of the Grizz, but also through the convocation program that Bindi mentioned earlier. It's one of her first times getting to know our community, so we hope that you will tell your friends, like, yo, this was a good place to be, and then come join us and hang out with us in 2 weeks. The link is going to stay the same. The information will be on our website. We'll be sending you emails, and we'll be promoting this, I think, through Summer Bridge as well. So that being said, Benny said the "Are you ready?" is to help you be better prepared on Blackboard. So like, click all the links, open up 20,000 more browsers, and music is probably coming from the second browser. So if you shut that one down, then the music will cut off and you'll be able to pay attention to what's happening. Happy first State of the Grizz to everybody. Our first episode is a little rough around the edges, but you know, we're from New York City. We're rough around the edges. That's what we do.
Listen, we're from New York. We make things work. You know what I mean? And like you said, we got started a couple of seconds behind schedule, but we got it worked out. We got the kinks ironed out, and we made it work. You know, as Nestor said, in a couple of weeks we'll be back. You know, hopefully you all will not only tune in, but you will tell a friend who will tell a friend who will tell a friend, and get connected. You know what I mean? This medium is for you and about you. So we hope you'll join us. You know, as we move to close, again, I'm going to keep thanking you for taking the time, but more importantly, I want to thank you for engaging, asking questions, and really using and leveraging the space as we originally designed it to be, is a forum, not just a conversation. As Nestor said, you know, we like having conversations and hearing our own voices, but we wanted, you know, this to be an engagement. You know, Grizzlies, we're here. You all have the opportunity now to really dive into Bridge next week, and then in a few weeks after that, into your first days as Gutman Community College students. So we use this platform to tell you we're here, we support you, and most importantly, we got your back. As the Vice President for Student Engagement, our pledge to you is to continue to provide systems and services that are designed to help you grow as students and be civic engaged leaders. All that means is we're hoping to better prepare and propel you to continue to take over and to be leaders in our communities in a local, regional, national, and international level. So Grizzlies, it's a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you all virtually over the next few weeks, and definitely at our next State of the Grizz on September 2nd. Be well, Grizzlies.
Dean VP, you forgot our sign-off statement. Come on.
I'm rusty. What can I say? So it's what? See you in 2 weeks, same bat time?
Same bat channel.